Your Grace, our Primate and Mama Nigeria, our Chairman, House of Bishops and House of Laity, good afternoon and congratulations on our 45th anniversary as a national church, still very young comparatively, but making giant strides. I pray that God Almighty will continue to bless us and take us to greater heights in Jesus' name. My title is Contributions, the Distinguished Contributions of the Anglican Church to Socio-Political Development in Nigeria. Very broad. It assumes that we want to look at our distinguished, that is peculiar contributions, not just to Christianity, but to socio-political development in Nigeria. The time frame is very broad. I want to say it is important for us to tell our history. On the day of Pentecost, Peter traced the history from the call of Abraham to the moment. So it's good for us to appreciate our history. My dimension is to say, what impact have we made? What are the contributions? I enumerate them as follows. Number one, identity. There may be 1 million churches in Nigeria. We are the Church of Nigeria. By colonial legacy, we took that from the British Empire, and as it were, the Commonwealth of all nations, which succeeded the old British Empire, has a counterpart in the Anglican Communion, and both the King and the Queen preside over both church and state. So, we have contributed to the identity of the Nigerian state. It was the Anglican Church that contributed to the birthing of Nigeria, not the other way around. During our 180th anniversary, we invited a professor of history from University of Ibadan, Professor Olutayo Adesina. He says as follows: Anglican history provides a good understanding of the political, social, linguistic, sociological, economic, architectural, and even dynastic transitions and development of this country. And he says the Anglican Church was the creator of the Nigerian state. Anglican Church created the Nigerian state. And the format of the Anglican structure is what has given us the federal government, the state government, local government, up to this moment. So we define Nigeria. Like Church of England, we are the Church of Nigeria. That's our first achievement, identity. The second is the establishment of mission stations and the ideology of self-sustenance. If in demography you have Christians in many parts of the world today, the Anglican Church takes a lion's share in the praise of planting the light of Christianity. Otherwise, we will have been swallowed up by idolatry or Islamization. So, through church plants in nooks and crannies of this country, we have made our impact. The second part of the impact, apart from church plans and the salvation of souls, and the healings, and the prayer, and the counseling, and all the benefits of the church, is the doctrine of self-sustenance. You will remember that when the missionary endeavor came, it was initiated not by the Church of England. It was a private initiative by people who are mission-oriented. The Clapham set, young boys from Cambridge, Oxford, who formed the London Missionary Society, later the Church Missionary Society, and they decided to hire clergymen, including somebody like Reverend C.A. Goldman, a German citizen, to work for the CMS. It was not the official Church of England. It adopted it later on. REV'D was the person who was the secretary of the CMS at that time, controlling the missions, the Niger, Yoruba mission, Northern mission here and there. And so he was the one that propounded the doctrine of being self-governing, self-propagating, and self-sustaining. In other words, an independent pastorate, not depending upon foreign aid. That spirit of self-sustenance came from the church, and that was what motivated the struggle for African liberation. What they call Ethiopianism, struggling for African people's liberation using the church as a pedestal. That was a contribution. So if we have African nations all over who fought for independence, the proportion came from the church, and which started this issue of self-reliance, not depending upon the foreign government for us to have our identity. Number three is fight for social transformation. That was very remarkable. Under that, we fought against idolatry, and conquered the gods of the land substantially. We fought against human sacrifices, which was very common. In many parts of the African nation, many tribes were still sacrificing people. If kings died, they had to bury some slaves alive. People were worshiping idols, doing human sacrifice. The church stopped it. But most remarkably, not just the effort of William Wilberforce in England, the church in Nigeria, Anglican church, fought against slavery. That was a very big achievement. We stopped idolatry at that time substantially, stopped human sacrifices, and stopped the trade in slaves. You will remember that the Scottish mission through Mary Slessor stopped the killing of twins. These were social transformations and fighting for fundamental human rights of the people at that time. All forms of bestiality, the church fought against them. That we are free today is simply because of the effort of the church. Number 4, education. All of us benefited from mission education directly or indirectly. All the giants who were in different areas of society, who were the elite of the society, were trained in one school or the other. And so the missionaries came with their schools, and those schools produced the leaders in every area of life. Leaders in politics, leaders in commerce, leaders in the civil service, even in the military, and even in agriculture. You remember Thomas Fowell Buxton, who brought out the ideology of the Bible and the plow. So this idea of people not just ministry, but also engaging in agriculture, it was the church, this our church, that engaged in agriculture and developed agricultural production. It is on record that Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther had something to do with bringing cassava into Nigeria. Today we eat gari. Today we have all sorts of products from cassava. This man was responsible for bringing it to Nigeria. It was Charles Philip who brought cocoa to Ondo, and there it continued to go. And you can see that cocoa was the mainstay of the economy in Nigeria in the southern parts, as palm oil was there in the east. You have that in the west, even before we discovered oil. So economically speaking, the church initiative was the foundation for the building of the Nigerian economy. Number 6, we have what I call linguistic impact. Linguistic impact in the area of translations. The Nigerian Linguistic Society celebrates Ajayi Crowther more than we, the church people, because of the contribution of this man. The man could speak 13 languages, and he translated the Bible into Yoruba, translated the Book of Common Prayer into Yoruba, and working with James Taylor in the East, they developed the Yoruba and Igbo orthography. That we can say ABC in Igbo and Yoruba. It was due to the work of the church, Ajayi Crowther. He went to the Niger Delta, he did the same thing. He went to New Peland, he did the same thing. So in terms of linguistics, in terms of interpretation or translation, the Anglican Church made impact in trying to extend Christianity and civilization to all the nooks and crannies of the world. Number 7, peace, mediation, and diplomacy. In those days when warfare was very common, intestine wars were coming everywhere among many groups, the Anglican Church played a diplomatic role, mediating between communities and settling callers. And the boundaries that they set and the peace that is settled have continued to be sustained today, and we still have that heritage. They have done that. Number 8, in terms of political leadership, the Anglican Church has been blessed because we developed the elite in this society. I'm sure you do remember the biblical passage that says that when the righteous are in power, the people will rejoice, but when the evil people are in power, the people will mourn. So when you have our own people in power, it is a major achievement. In our history, we had Bishop James Johnson, who fought against the colonization of Christianity and fought against the white man and the colonial influence upon our liturgy, upon our history and spirituality. He laid the foundation. We had Herbert Macaulay, who was one of the very first to stand up for African rights, to say we are going to have Pan-Africanism, we are going to fight for the independence away from colonialism and have a self-government and get involved in politics. Herbert Macaulay, you have his photograph in one of our currency in Nigeria. He was a product of the Anglican Church. We had Benjamin Nnamdi Azikiwe, our first president. We had Jeremiah Obafemi Awolowo with all their achievements. These were people who were trained by the church, and we thank God for their heritage, and the Christian influence and the Anglicanism in them impacted upon their contribution to providing good leadership in the First and partially Second Republic. We were also very fortunate to have Yakubu Gowon, General, as a product of the Anglican Church. During the military era, that man is still being respected today. We are very fortunate to have Alexander Ekweme as the Vice President of Shagari. We are very fortunate to have Goodluck Jonathan and Sonekon. Anglican churches have led society. And you can compare them, people like Awolowo and Nnamdi Azikiwe, to good leaders that were raised by the church who made great impact upon their society. We speak in Kenya of Jomo Kenyatta. We speak in Zambia of Kenneth Kaunda. We speak in Uganda of Milton Obote. We speak in Tanzania of Julius Nyerere. We speak in Ghana of Kwame Nkrumah. That generation was raised by the church. They liberated their countries. Unfortunately, we are leaderless, as it were, and Africa is in a confused state. Number 9. Healthcare. We have not been too loud in this area, but indeed we have had interventions in healthcare services because missionaries were also running the dispensaries, and the last time I went on the Niger, the Lord Bishop on the Niger took me to the first hospital that was built by the missionaries there. Is who's now part of the College of Medicine right now. So we had an early intervention in the East through that particular facility, and at Wusasa we had the St. Luke's Hospital. And so in medical sector, the Anglican Church has also made a growth of impact. Number 10, we are progenitor of many other denominations. We have produced so many children that have departed from us but really have not departed. You can see those who are the major champions of revival in Nigeria. Is it Joseph Ayo Babalola, through whom Christ Apostolic Church started and Mountain of Fire came out of it? He was an Anglican. Josiah Oshitelu of the Church of the Lord was an Anglican. Baba Tokwe started the Apostolic Church, was an Anglican. Moses Ore Molade, who started the Cherubim and Seraphim Church that became Redeemed Christian Church of God, was an Anglican. And you can even see that even the popular leaders today, Enoch Adeboye, William Kumuyi, they are all proud of their Christian and Anglican identity. I wish to let us understand that through the adoption of our liturgy, through adoption of our hymns, through the adoption of our vestments and our polity, even the Pentecostal churches are still under Anglican influence today. We have made a lot of impact. Their call to prayer, their structure, and their spirituality is largely influenced. When they depart from Anglicanism, they must return to it at some point in time. Number 11, we have been a vocal voice at the international fora. And in 1998, Joseph Abiodun Adetiloye, our primate then, was a very vocal voice who led the Anglicans in Nigeria to speak against homosexuality and pass the resolution 110, 1998. We had a voice at that time, and Nigeria was respected at Lambeth. Then we have the Kappa, the Convocation of Anglican Provinces in Africa. Our primates have led Kappa. Adetiloye did, Jasper Akinola did, Archbishop Oko also did. So at the African level, Nigeria had been at the leadership. In 2004, Nigeria hosted this conference, Africa Has Come of Age. In other words, passing a message to the Western world that we are not substandard and we are not subservient. We have come of age and we can stand on our own. And they did that simply because they understand the history that Africans actually, at the very difficult moments of crisis in the church, have always stood to defend the Christian faith. You remember when the life of Jesus Christ was in danger under Herod, he was a refugee in Africa. We remember during the times of the heresies in the early church, Marcionism, Arianism, Montanism, Donatism, and all the isms. It was the African church fathers like Irenaeus, Tertullian, Origen, and Augustine. All of these people were the people that fought for the Christian faith. And so it is not just an accident that our voices have been loud, not just at Kappa, have been loud at Lambeth, it has been loud at the Global South, and it has also been loud in GAFCON. Nigeria Anglican Church created GAFCON as an alternative to Lambeth. You are part of the history, and the founder of GAFCON was no other person than Primate Peter Jasper Akinola. Number 12 now is the role of watchman. Now in the whole Anglican communion, we are in trouble, and Nigeria has become the only major voice that is fighting for biblical orthodoxy today. Even some of our African brothers are compromising simply because of the intimidation of Canterbury, Tech, and because of their love for money. We are the loudest voice as the watchman over the society today. And so it's instructive to note that GAFCON 1 was led by a Nigerian primate. GAFCON 2 went to Kenya. It was led by Ehud Wabukala, who was the primate of Kenya. But GAFCON 3 we returned to Jerusalem, led by our own Archbishop Nicholas Oko. And in GAFCON 4, the role of our own primate, Archbishop Ndukuba, has been very, very major, has become a major voice in the entire Anglican communion. As it is now, we are the major voice fighting for Anglican orthodoxy and biblical orthodoxy. Africa is taking the lead again through the voice of Nigeria. Of course, we need not say that we need not doubt the fact that we are the largest population in the Anglican communion. We are the Anglican communion. And so those who are departing from the faith and the formularies of the Anglican orthodoxy, they are the ones who are the rebels, and they are the ones who have actually departed. And finally, Nigeria has been able to make impact at the international fora. In view of this departure and the compromises, the Church of Nigeria found it necessary to have missions outside. In other words, CMS brought Christianity to us. Through our Church of Nigeria Missionary Society, we also have a vision to go outside. So we are present in Francophone countries. We are present in other Anglophone African countries. We are present also in England, and we are present also in Canada. So that is another impact that we are making. And let me add this on the final note. As far as education is concerned, we are also making our own impact. You must remember that the churches founded universities. Oxford in 1096, Cambridge in 1209, King's College London, and St. Andrews in 1410, and then we have Harvard in 1639, named after John Harvard, an Anglican clergyman. So we gave back to universities. So it is not an irony that we have Ajakrada University of Oyo, we have Paul University of Ka, and we now have University on the Niger. We have 3 universities and more to come by the grace of God. And the one that the Church of Nigeria is starting is coming up now. That is the one that our Archbishop Primate is already developing. And we also have the one that the Sopranote is also developing. Well, so we are coming up. That is an impact. Whoever passes through our institutions will have imprint of Anglicanism in them. On the very final note, we have also made impact. That's going to be number 16, I presume, in terms of mass media and communication. You can never, never underestimate the influence of Anglican or Advent Cable Network Nigeria, which is viewed all over the world. It has taken the churches to the living rooms of the people. It has taken Christian Anglican spirituality to the phones of people. And so we are present at the Satellite Global Outreach. These are all the impacts that we have made in our 45. I'm done. I don't need this anymore. May the Lord bless you in Jesus' name.